I know I'm a little late to the party, but let's do a camera comparison between the S24 and the iPhone 15. It's 3 lenses versus 2, and let's see if that makes a big difference for the vanilla S24. Let's start with some portrait shots. Now both phones take excellent portrait shots. This is to be expected. When taking shots from the main lens, I prefer the colors of the iPhone 15. It produces shots that are much closer to the real life. On the other hand, the S24 struggles by blowing out the highlights. The first shot was proof of it. The S24 can take zoomed in portraits at 2x with the main lens and 3x with the telephoto. Personally, I think the 2x looks much better, more so than the 3x. Now you can do 3x portraits with the iPhone 15 as long as you are okay with losing a little bit of quality. Other than that, the shots are near perfect. Now obviously if you do pixel peep, you are bound to find a few misses, but then that's the case with most phones these days. And I can't really pick a winner in portraits. I do like the punchier / contrasty colors of the S24, but I know it's a little too unnatural for my flavors. The iPhone 15 does a slightly better job in my opinion. Moving on to some non-portrait shots. The results are similar here as well. Both phones produce nice looking shots. The S24 does handle the sun a bit better, specifically the shadows on the face, although the background is handled slightly better by the iPhone. The sky looks especially more pleasing in the iPhone shots. That said, I do like the glare effect from the S24. The S24 also has the advantage of the 3x telephoto, producing a more natural blur in the background. Next up, we are taking a look at some selfies. On paper, the iPhone 15 has a slightly better sensor and a wider sensor, which does help take wider shots. However, in real life, it's back and forth between these devices. In some cases, I really like the output of the S24, while in other cases, the iPhone seems to be ahead. And for that reason, I cannot pick a winner here as well. Next up are ultra-wide shots. Both phones produce very similar looking shots. That is because the sensors on these phones are almost identical. It all boils down to the post-processing. For ultrawide, I do like the output from both phones. Personally, I've never used the ultrawide too much on any of the phones I've owned. That said, let's move to some random shots taken with the main sensor. The photos here are quite similar with minor differences in color output. One thing I have noticed and where the S24 excels is handling the sunlight when the subject is facing opposite the sun. While the iPhone creates a photo that's mostly dark and might be more true to life, the S24 lights up the subject in a way that feels more appealing to the eyes. In some cases, the iPhone produces better shots even though it butchers the white balance. The Yeezys look much more color accurate on the iPhone than on the S24. Other than that, the shots are really good. Samsung has done a really good job stepping it up with their post-processing. Comparing telephoto shots on these phones is a bit tricky. The S24 has a dedicated 3x telephoto while the iPhone crops in the main 48 megapixel sensor for a 2x zoom. At 3x, the S24 has a clear advantage, and even at 2x, I feel the S24 is retaining better details in the shot. This is one area where Apple really needs to step up. I think it's time Apple used a 3x telephoto lens for the non-Pro iPhones and a 5x for the Pro iPhones. Now for some videos. One area where I always feel the iPhone has an upper hand is in video quality. While the S24 does a really good job, it still feels a tiny bit behind the iPhone. The iPhone 15's footage looks more stable and it also handles shadows better than the S24. There's also no fringing or artifacting when moving the phone. Other than that, the dynamic range and colors are solid on both phones. Both phones also have a similar video feature, which is the cinematic video, but I did not compare that. Where the S24 does have a slight advantage is by having a Pro mode. I feel most people just shoot regular videos with their phones, and that's why I didn't compare these other modes. For the front camera videos, I do like the color reproduction of the iPhone more than the S24. Now it is to be noted that this was a tricky scenario because I wasn't exactly facing the sun. Hence all the more amazing that the iPhone does a better job. However, I do like the S24's skin tone reproduction. It is slightly more closer to real life than the iPhone. Finally, we have some nighttime shots. For me, these are the least fun shots to compare. As someone who's not out that often taking such shots, I find it a chore to do so. But for you guys, I will. So maybe subscribe to the channel to show some support. What I do like about the iPhone is the auto nighttime detection. In some cases, the S24 doesn't turn on night mode and I have to manually go into that mode. Not a big deal for me as I rarely take such shots. As for video, both phones are decent and not exceptional. The iPhone 15 does slightly better when you take a look at the store/bank signs. Where the S24 is horrible is when zooming. I don't remember if it was 2x or 3x, but you can see the results. As soon as you zoom in, the S24 starts stuttering or lagging and the quality just drops. I'm not sure why that is happening, but it is not good. Front-facing video is nothing to write home about. It's passable at best. I wouldn't shoot with either of these phones in low light, but if I had to pick, I would probably pick the iPhone as it does seem to be a little more reliable, especially when zooming. And with that, we have come to an end. Both phones are great in terms of photos and videos, with each having their own weakness and strength. You can't really go wrong with either of these. In the end, it all boils down to personal preference and taste. I would choose the iPhone as it is my go-to for shooting B-rolls and short videos for TikTok and Instagram. Which one would you pick? Let me know in the comments and I'll catch you all soon in the S24 review video.